This podcast is brought to you by Legend Comics and Coffee in Omaha, Nebraska, located in scenic downtown Benson. They got a new location. It's absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. And by listeners like you. Go to Patreon/Two-Headed Nerd. Become a patron. Support this show.
Once, they were two best friends managing a comic book store. But when an innocent blood oath went wrong, the two found themselves trapped in the same body, imprisoned in a strange pyramid made of long boxes, buried deep below their hometown, where they are doomed to discuss comic books until the end of time. They were once Joe and Matt. Now they are known as the Two-Headed Nerd. And this is their podcast.
Broadcasting from the Ziggurat at Omaha and caverns deep below the metro area, it's our pleasure to welcome you to another Back Issue Show, episode 785 of the Two-Headed Nerd Comic Book Podcast. I'm your head number one, the Internet's Joe Patrick.
I am your head number two. My name is Matt Baum, and it's time for part two of our Remembering Peter David Back Issue Show. We are going to revisit three more comics written by Peter David that we absolutely adore, starring characters that he changed for the better.
Part one of our Peter David Memorial is up on the site, YouTube, and anywhere you download podcasts if you missed it. But now it's time to straighten our ties, sing Oh Danny Boy, and finish our very special back issue memoriam in the Ziggurat. He was Jewish, though. I don't think Oh Danny Boy would be sung.
Just sing it at any funeral. It's just a goodbye song, you know? What?
It's an Irish goodbye song.
Sure.
Okay.
We lost Peter David last month, but we will still be discussing his work for years to come. Now, before we finish talking about our favorite comics that he wrote, we want to take a little moment to discuss some of the characters that he created while at Marvel and DC that we didn't get to touch on. This is by no means a complete list. There is a massive amount of characters that he created. These are some lesser known characters, fringier weirdo characters that he created while at Marvel and DC that you may not know of. I did not know the leader had a brother. Philip Stearns, Madman. He was created with artist Jeff Purvis. First appeared in The Incredible Hulk, number 362 in 1989. He was a gamma-powered villain opposing the Hulk. I will let you guess who gave him his powers.
The Pantheon.
It was Sammy Stearns, his brother. Shitty thing to do to your little brother, but I mean, I abused my little brothers growing up too, so I get it.
Yeah. Fun fact, Madman was red.
Yeah.
Not green.
Nope. Bright
Not
red.
even red. Not like a burgundy, like deep, dark red.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we had a red Hulk, so makes sense, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
Right? Talos the Untamed, a Skrull warrior that was unable to shapeshift. And it made him so mad that he became like the baddest Skrull fighter there was. He was co-created with Gary Frank in Incredible Hulk, number 418, back in June 1994. I have no memory of this character. No memory.
Yeah, I do. And I remember that story. I also remember the best thing about Talos the Untamed is that Marvel repurposed that name for Ben Mendelsohn's character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, really? Okay.
So Ben Mendelsohn is Talos.
Yeah, Talos.
In
there
the
you
Marvel
go.
Cinematic Universe.
I love that he was just like, he was so pissed that he got teased all his life for not being able to shape change.
I think he had like cyborg parts and stuff. Yeah, like he was pretty, he had a chip on his shoulder about it.
He was a whole thing. Phyla-Vell. Introducing Captain Marvel, Volume 5, number 16, back in 2003. She was co-created with Paul Azaceta as Mar-Vell's daughter, who later would go on to become Martyr for a little while, and then the much better known Quasar. I love Phyla-Vell. Her and Moondragon.
Yeah, Phyla. She's still kicking it today.
Love her. Her and Moondragon, they sit in a tree and kiss, and it's cute. I love it.
Yeah, they do. They were in Lurv.
Yeah. One of our favorite bad guys and most disgusting that we like to bring up and question his powers, Random. Real name.
Favorite is not the word I would use to
I'm saying
describe
favorite
him.
because Random gets a lot of run on this show. We have talked about him multiple times.
Favorite punching bags, maybe.
He was created by Peter David and Joe Quesada, made his first appearance in X Factor 88 back in 93. He has a malleable protoplasmic body. He's a bad guy. The Dark Beast gave him some powers. Most specifically, his power to turn his hands to guns and shoot something out of them. Not energy blasts.
Poop.
Projectiles.
It's poop. It's disc-shaped poop.
I don't know what else it would possibly be.
I mean, the human body only has an external source of fuel or ammunition, if you will,
sure,
stored somewhere in the body. And it's certainly not from your skin or your fat or your blood or your bile. It's from poop.
I mean, you got a Marrow who makes like bones she throws, I guess, but she doesn't.
Those are bones. She makes extra bones.
Right.
That's cut and dry.
And nowhere in his power set does it say he shoots extra bones that he makes.
Now, if you want to say, okay, his body converts his food into bullets, whatever.
That's dumb.
But we all know it's poop.
How's he making like hot dogs and hamburgers harder than they are? Like, how's that work?
Converts it via his mutant power. He also turns into like a hulking gray muscle man. He's normally like a skinny little weirdo.
That's true. That's true. He can make himself bigger. He didn't just create one. He liked her so much, he created 2 Ruby Summers from 2 separate realities. She's the daughter of Emma Frost and Scott Summers from Earth 1191. And I had to fact check this. I was wrong. Earth 69413, where I thought she was Cable's daughter, but they don't actually say who her parents are from that Earth. She is of the Frost clan. That's all we know. So Ruby was kick-ass though, because she had ruby red skin and she was hard like her mom. Like she didn't have a diamond form. She had a ruby form.
She had gem-like skin.
First appearance.
So I'm not sure if Ruby number. Oh yeah. Created by Greg Land. Oh, she was from the, she's from the Battle World version of Future Imperfect.
Yes,
she was from that 2 issue.
So we don't know that much about her, but the one that we do know more about first appeared in X Factor Special Layla Miller #1 back in 2008. I liked Ruby a lot.
Yep.
She was cool.
She from the future.
Yeah, she was neat. I'm going to say maybe Peter David. Well, I bet Maestro is probably his most famous bad guy, but maybe most infamous bad guy, the Sin Eater. Stanley Carter first appeared back in Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man #107 back in July 1985. We talked about it when I did my embarrassing Slack issues of The Death of Jen.
Slack issues?
Because I admitted I had never read it. Incredible Spider-Man story. Oh my God. So
Death of Jean DeWolf, probably arguably the greatest. Boy. Is it the greatest story Peter David ever wrote at Marvel? Contained short.
I think it's probably the most celebrated.
It might be.
It might be the most celebrated.
Well, his run on Hulk is the most celebrated, but yeah.
No. I'm talking
for like a short, 4-part story.
Single
it's
story.
all killer.
Yeah, I'll bet that is probably the one.
It's certainly the greatest Spider-Man story he ever wrote.
Joe Patrick got some DC weirdos he created here too. Tell me about them.
Yeah, yes, we do. So we've got Ariella Kent, who is from the 853rd century, aka the DC 1 million timeline. According to Internet, she's the daughter of Linda Danvers. I'm not sure if that's accurate.
That's from the DC fandom page. So
okay, well then I retract it. She was created by Peter David and Dusty Abel.
Okay, so check this out. Ariella Kent, parents identified as Clark Kent and Linda Danvers. More specifically, Ariella Kent, after being transported to the future, Ariella succeeded her mother as Supergirl. This occurred when Linda Danvers attempted to take the place of Earth 1's Kara Zor-El, inadvertently creating a split timeline where Superman...
Whoa, hold on.
Where Superman fell in love with her, leading to the marriage and birth of Ariella Kent. She ain't no robot. She's a baby.
Oh, there are 2 Ariella Kents. I'm not thinking of... So you know what? This is all coming back to me now. I believe what they did was they retroactively turned they created this version of Ariella Kent, who was Superman and Linda Danvers' daughter. Yes, I remember this because Linda was like living this fantasy life where she got older and was married to Superman and blah, blah, blah. And I believe they reveal at the end of the series that her daughter grows up to be, or at least becomes, the Supergirl of DC 1 million.
Yes. First appeared in Supergirl 1 million. Yes.
Yes. But her first present day appearance was like at the tail end of Peter David's Supergirl run.
Yes. She came back.
Yeah, boy. I fucking forgot. Woo. I forgot they did that shit.
Woo!
You know what? That last storyline in Peter David's Supergirl is not great.
No,
but
yeah, you know,
the book had been canceled, and he was trying to wrap things up.
Yeah, he was a busy guy.
And a character who's been debated a little bit in our last Peter David discussions, Leandra, aka Fallen Angel, who was the heroine of the creator-owned Fallen Angel series, which was co-created by David and artist David Lopez. It debuted as a DC book, and it was heavily implied or hinted at. They basically let people believe that Leandra, or they called her Lee in the book, was Linda Danvers' Supergirl carrying on her mission.
I mean, it was, right? It was. After
they introduced the modern day version of Kara Zor-El from Krypton. And so, yeah, if you believe it in your heart to be true, then it's true. Nobody is going to tell you it's not, because nobody is going to admit that the Linda Danvers Supergirl ever existed at DC. So it did move to IDW, which allowed David and Lopez to carry on that book. It was very good.
Peter was a super busy guy and created a million characters. Let's get back to his comic work. And we open part 2 with arguably his most famous creation.
Hard to dispute.
Yeah.
First up this week for me is Spider-Man 2099, number 1, from Marvel. The year was 1992. Written by David with pencils by Rick Leonardi, inks by Al Williamson, colors by Steve Bucoletto, letters by Rick Parker. Here is your description. The year is 2099. The ultra-rich are above the law and mega corporations rule. The future is full of menaces, but none so vile as a corrupt government and the corporations behind it. Man, the future sounds like
I'm just glad we don't live in a present that's like that.
Yeah, wow.
All. Man, can you imagine having to deal with that?
Yeah. A scary future needs a hero who's just as creepy, perhaps a wall crawler of some kind. See the world of tomorrow and the cast who inhabit it as the Spider-Man of 2099 battles evil in both high and low society. This issue starts with a kick-ass action scene. We see Spider-Man 2099 already in costume, flipping around gleaming towers of Nueva York, which is what they call New York in the 2099. And he's being chased by the public eye, which is basically the privatized police. David and Leonardi, they really show off Spidey's abilities here. Most of them, some of them we see shortly. He's got razor sharp talons in his fingertips, which immediately sets him apart from our Spidey. He ditches the cops in the crowd. He reemerges as plain old Miguel O'Hara. We learn that Miguel is this geneticist, a brilliant, like wonderkind geneticist working for Alchemax, and he specializes in genetic manipulation. He's been ditching calls from his boss, who reveals in a phone message to Miguel that Miguel is a drug addict. Just casually drops it in a voicemail.
I mean, yeah, he is, but it's also not his fault.
But we'll get to that. We're telling the story out of order here.
Okay, I was gonna say they made him.
Peter David is like, we're gonna get some flashbacks here. He's also ditching calls from his brother and his fiance, who is sporting a pretty wicked shiner.
Yeah.
And she's like, Miguel, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I forgive you, baby. So like, it's like, oh, Miguel hit her. But we're going to get there. Don't freak out. We're flashing back right now to see how all this happened. So Miguel and Alchemax are trying to create the perfect genetically engineered corporate raider, because that's the biggest concern of anybody in business.
Sure.
Like, how can we get the perfect agent to go fuck over our competition?
And better yet, what would a perfect corporate raider do? Obviously, climb walls. Like, that's what he would do. When they say
corporate raider, I think they mean like an actual like infiltration and spy.
Sure,
not just like
but
not a corporate raider in the traditional business sense.
If you are in the room where you're having this meeting and they're like, what are those skills that we want in this corporate raider? And someone was like, I don't know, he's probably a really good hacker. And your CEO was like, no. Like, you know what we need? No. Spider-Man.
Yeah. Now, so to be fair, that's not what they're doing at first. Miguel just happens to have a file on the original Spider-Man because he's fascinated by him.
Right.
And he had been tinkering with somebody. And but that's not what they're trying to do. I think right now they're just basically trying to kind of Captain America a guy.
Yeah, I mean, more or less.
And it's not going well at all.
It's super soldiering, but they're messing deeply with genetics and stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're like rewriting DNA and shit now. He's got this supervisor who is this tiny little man called Aaron Delgado. And he's very threatened by Miguel's genius. He's jealous. That Tyler Stone, who is like the CEO of Alchemax, he gives Miguel all this favorable treatment, like Miguel's the golden boy. But an accident happens in the lab, and one of the test subjects dies during the experiment, and Miguel becomes disillusioned. He's like, this is it. I quit. We never should have gone to human testing. I told you it wasn't safe. I'm out. Here's my badge. But Stone is like, hey, my guy, let's have a drink first and talk about it. And he slips a drug called Rapture into Miguel's drink.
He slips him a Rapture Mickey.
Slips him a Rapture Mickey, and Rapture is a legal drug that is only legally supplied by Alchemax. But it's also like very deadly and 1,010% addictive, which means if you don't take it, you'll die.
Yeah. So like they've got you on both ends. Like they put this drug.
They have essentially
it's like nicotine. It's like nicotine. They put it in the cigarettes to make you want more cigarettes. So Rapture.
Yeah, except that this is like you smoke one cigarette and then you decide it's not for me, and then you drop dead.
Right. You need
this
to
is
smoke
more like
more.
you took a tiny little bit of Rapture and now you're ours forever.
It's literally called Rapture for a reason. So.
Yeah. So essentially Tyler has enslaved Miguel to the company. So in his like Rapture induced stupor, he makes his way home and he accidentally pops his old lady right in the face. She's like, I understand it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. It quickly wears off. And she's like, oh, man, what's going on? What happened to you? And he tells her what's going on. Or no, I think he tells her everything's fine. Right. I don't think he tells her that he got slipped Rapture.
No, he does. Forget. It's the Rapture. I was fighting it. I was seeing monsters everywhere. Rapture.
Oh, okay,
Since when do you drop Rapture?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. He is shockingly candid with Dana, his fiance.
Well, I mean, he just hit her. And I don't think it's an everyday thing.
No. But I mean, obviously telling your fiance that you have been illegally hooked on Rapture is a pretty big deal.
Well, sure. But if I came home and blasted my wife on accident, I better have a pretty good excuse as to why it happened.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Like, shut your bitch mouth, baby. I don't want to tell you what's really going on.
Okay. We're going to stop making jokes about domestic abuse. But yes, you're right. So he quickly explains I was dosed. and I wasn't in my right mind, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Things are bad. And he calms her down. He sends her home. The drug wears off. He goes back to the office and he tries to rewrite his DNA with his original genetic code to kind of free himself from that rapture. He's doing a factory reset, just like with the Beast.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and like, he's just like, I'm just going to imprint my body with the backup of my DNA that I took earlier today.
What could go wrong?
Everything's going to be fine.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, if you're in the machine when your shitty toady Aaron decides to sabotage the experiment, yikes. He pushes it far past the safety thresholds, mashes a bunch of buttons, and an unexpected piece of DNA ends up in the mix as well. You guessed it, Spider-Man.
I remember reading the first issue of this, and we talked about it when we did like our top 5 Peter David characters that we love so much. We talked about Spider-Man 2099 and how unlikely of a hero he is set up as in these first couple issues, because Miguel is not the best guy. Miguel's working for a super evil corporation, and even though like they weren't doing human trials yet, that's where they were going, dude.
Like he has a line, but that line is way farther away than most normal people would be comfortable.
He is no Peter Parker. Peter Parker.
Oh, 100%.
Absolute Boy Scout.
Correct.
You know, like you could say like, well, the power is truly Peter Parker, not so much Spider-Man, you know, but Miguel O'Hara.
Like, no, if Miguel was not Spider-Man, many people would be dead.
Yeah. Miguel had to learn these lessons. And
yes,
I love that Peter David challenges you, the reader, to kind of like, okay, stay with me. And let's see if you're going to like this guy. He makes the world so interesting that I'm in. 2099 at the time was like a huge thing.
Well, it was a huge massive promotion, this 2099 launch.
And this book looks so good too. The cover, the art, all of it. It was slick as hell.
And I want to say it was Spider-Man. It was Ravage, which is best left unmentioned.
Don't worry about it.
It was Punisher. And was there one more that I'm forgetting? Oh, Doom.
Well, Doom.
And then there was Doom.
Yeah.
So those were the 4 2099 launch titles. And they launched to huge fanfare.
Oh, yeah. And this cover, you couldn't fight it. And so this was a
big deal. Capital B, capital D deal.
Foil cover. You could not fight it. New Spider-Man costume that looked kick ass. He had like.
Oh, the costume's awesome.
Oh, my God.
Right, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So. Everything about it, though, I just, and like, not to mention the fact that this was, what year did this come out? This was
1992.
1992, and our main character is a mixed race Irish Latino. You know, I mean, like, that's pretty rad, Peter David. There was not a lot of this representation around in 1992. And true. You know, Marvel was like, can't it just be a white guy? I mean, like, what if we just made him a white guy?
To Marvel's credit, I think that was kind of like, I think the melting pot skewed much more heavily towards the Latino population 100 years in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's called Nueva York now.
His partner is also Latino. I mean, like
Aaron Delgado.
Yeah.
Aaron Delgado.
Right.
And it's like, these are, it's much more of a racially blind or colorblind society than the main Marvel universe.
Or, yeah, I mean, much more Latino in nature. I mean, it's kind of a Blade Runner future where everything, like Los Angeles, is very Asian. It looks like future Japan.
Right, yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Oh, man, but Peter David, his Spider-Man 2099, the entire run, it is so goddamn good. So tell them about the end of issue 1.
The machines explode. Miguel stumbles out of the flames, butt naked. And then Delgado confronts him, and Miguel turns to reveal he's been transformed into a monster. He's got fangs and white eyes and sharp fingers.
He's probably closer.
And that's how the book ends. It's like, oh shit, Spider-Man 2099 is a monster.
He's probably closer to what Peter Parker, what should have happened if you actually mix a DNA of a person and a spider, you know, as opposed to what Peter got. So.
But I mean, just to kind of sum up what Matt has already said, this is a phenomenal introductory issue. And you get it all. You get an origin story with high stakes, kick-ass scenes of the new hero in action, The series as it goes on has a compelling cast, sleazy villains. Rick Leonardi's art has never looked
so
better than it does in this series.
Oh, man, it's so hot.
And his Spider-Man effortlessly glides through the air just like the OG Spidey.
And it's not another Peter Parker. That's the thing that's set aside. Like if you look at like Ben Reilly is tragic, whatever, but he's a good guy until they put him in a purple costume, or Miles Morales, who I love, is another sweet kid trying to be a good guy and doing the thing. They're all sort of inspired by and kind of like Peter Parker. Miguel O'Hara was a completely different character, and it enabled him to tell a completely different Spider-Man story. And look, end of the day, you really don't need to read any other 2099 stuff but this, and it's just great. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, some of it has its merits. Like Doom 2099 has its moments, but like this series is far and away the best thing 2099 ever produced.
Oh, yeah.
And Peter David writes it from start to finish. I loved this as a kid. I remember getting the first issue off the spinner rack. It holds up. Even today, it holds up. And if this were a regular show, if you did not believe that this was a huge buy it, best of the stack into the pull list, you're fooling yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's kicks ass.
So Miguel O'Hara is like a really good example of what Peter David can do whole cloth, given his own world, where he gets to make like a take on Spider-Man. But one of the things that I loved about him was the characters that he definitely loved and got a chance to flesh out and make them more than they were, right?
To evolve into something greater, yeah.
Jamie Madrox, for example. I think Jamie Madrox is probably my favorite character that he got a hold of and reinvented. Because before Peter David, sure, Jamie Madrox was the multiple man who wore a dumb green costume. And when you hit him, another multiple man came out. Like he was mutant. There you go. He had a few appearances here and there. He was whatever. But once Peter David got a hold of him in his X Factor, he really got to delve into who is Jamie Madrox and what is it like to be a person that can literally separate yourself into other people. Like the way that you might have different characteristics in your head. Like, oh, sorry, that's just me being an asshole, or oh, that's my imposter syndrome kicking in or whatever. What if there were different versions of you that had all these aspects walking around? And that is really, all of a sudden, Jamie Madrox became the most interesting character on that X Factor team. And you could tell Peter David loved him because he ended up running the X Factor team, turning it into X Factor Investigations. And he became this sort of lovable group of ex-losers, characters that didn't really have anywhere to go. So I'm going to skip past a lot of the X Factor stuff and get to Madrox #1, because this was part of a mini series where he really got to dig into Jamie Madrox. And it's not taking place during the best time in X-Men storytelling.
No.
Post M Day, which is when Brian Michael Bendis did the House of M thing. You may remember the No More Mutants. Wanda made everybody lose their mutant powers, and something happened where a few people tried to hold on to things.
Doctor Strange crossed his arms and legs and cast a spell.
And Emma was there too. He did something with her where he was like, protect them all psychically. And they could only remember 300 some names or something like that. I don't remember what it was. Or 199.
I don't remember.
Whatever.
198 was the number they tossed around. Yeah. Which had to have, like, I doubt that they counted, but yeah.
Yeah. Post this big House of M mess, we got 199 mutants left on the planet. And there was basically a mutant town in New York. It was kind of a mutant ghetto. And that's where Madrox takes place. So that's why I picked Madrox #1. It came out from Marvel in September 2004, of course, written by Peter David, with art by Pablo Raimondi, which is not a name I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah, Pablo Raimondi was all over the place in the early 2000s.
Yeah, all over the place. This is
at Marvel and DC, I believe.
Yeah, this was inked by Drew Hennessy, colors by Brian Reber. letters by Corey Pettit, who's been doing letters at Marvel for as long as I remember reading comics.
Oh, man. That dude grew up to be leader of the gang.
Yeah.
Or I like to think that he's a lieutenant in VC.
I don't know who runs VC, but yeah.
It's Joe Caramagna, I think, runs VC.
Probably. I don't know. Covered by David Lloyd and Brian Reber. The setup here, Jamie Madrox has been stabbed. He's desperately stumbling through New York, trying to get back to Mutant Town, which I just mentioned. It's like Chinatown or Little Italy, but it's for mutants. It was created by Grant Morrison, so it's very bohemian. He's trying to get back to the headquarters of X Factor Investigations, run by a very drunk Jamie Madrox, who is playing detective while waiting for a bald Shaolin monk Jamie Madrox to return. It turns out Jamie is a lot of people these days, and he's getting the X Factor gang back together to investigate who is trying to kill Jamie Madrox. This is the kind of fun you can have when you've got a character that can split himself into multiple personalities. It's true. Good.
So it's actually just called Triple X Investigations
at this point.
In this book, they don't retitle it. They don't get the idea to bring back X Factor till after this is over.
Oh, is that right? That's when it becomes X Factor Investigations.
Well, I mean, maybe I haven't read this whole series in a while, so maybe it ends with them renaming it X Factor. But at the beginning, Madrox is just one guy in a shingle. And he's hung out a shingle and it's got Triple X Investigations.
Oh, yeah, because they make jokes
written on masking tape on the window of his office or whatever.
And the joke is it sounds like they're making porn, so they change it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Chris Iliopoulos was the founder of Virtual Calligraphy, not Joe Caramagna.
Thank you.
Sorry, Chris.
Not only does David just have an excellent hold on the idea for what makes Jamie interesting, he sort of gave Jamie an attitude that he never had before this either. Like I said, he was just kind of multiple man. He was a background character. Now he became this kind of smug, smart, almost wannabe crime noir detective that other people kind of picked up on. Like, you're sort of trying to be tougher than you actually are. What's that about?
Yeah. Why are you doing a bit?
Yeah. And it's great. His dialogue is so dry. Jamie's kind of an asshole. He's trying to get home because he's bleeding in this. And in the opening of the book, we don't know any of this. All we know is that Jamie's been stabbed. That's it. And that's what we're getting.
Right. And you keep saying Jamie's in the office doing this while Jamie is stumbling to get home.
Right.
And it's every time you do it, my brain is temporarily scrambled, but that's kind of the point.
Exactly. Yeah. Wolfsbane was another character that Peter David did such a wonderful job on, because before this, don't get me wrong, I loved Wolfsbane, but she was just sort of a sad, scared, red-haired Irish girl with the thickest brogue you've ever heard.
Yeah, I can say.
Yeah.
We should point out that all of this character development that David did for these characters started in the 90s when he wrote X Factor the first time.
Right. His reign, though, in this, he's kind of let go of the ridiculous brogue, and she's sort of trying to fit in a little more.
I think there's even a line about how she's trying not to let it come out as much.
Her brogue only comes out when she's annoyed with Jamie or she's pissed off at somebody. And in this,
she gets her Irish up, if you will.
Yeah, we see two guys that are kind of whistling at her and catcalling her, and she turns around with a wolf head, which isn't. I don't love the way Raymond draws his reign.
Looks like a wolf head, not like a werewolf head, like a wolf head.
When she's an angry werewolf, she is very Irish. But we got to have so much fun with these characters in this short miniseries and answer weird questions. What happens if Jamie Madrox reabsorbs a super drunk duplicate? And then, you know what happens?
Yeah, right.
He's about half as drunk as that duplicate was, and it kind of sucks. He's going to be hungover.
Right. He gets all of the hangover and none of the benefit.
Yeah. He's been using his duplicates to go out and learn all the stuff that he wants to learn. Like Batman traveled the world to learn how to fight, learn how to be a detective, studied under all these people. Jamie's I don't have the time. I'm not a billionaire. And this is kind of a new thing for my life. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and just send multiple me's out to do things and learn stuff. And then I will reabsorb them. And I know some of that. I sent Shaolin monk me to go learn Kung Fu so I can know some Kung Fu. That's cool.
Yeah. And fun fact, according to this week's History of the DC Universe #2, Bruce Wayne traveled the globe for 20 whole years. And Madrox probably got what he got done accomplished in
a few months.
I don't know.
Yeah, 5
years.
2 years, 5 years. Yeah.
Let's say since the end of Peter David's X Factor, 5 years have elapsed. I don't quote me on that. I don't know if it's true. But if you remember, we talked about in a previous episode, somewhere along the line, we talked about how Jamie died.
Yeah.
And that's where he got the idea to always have a dupe out there.
So he can't die. Yeah.
So he can't die. And now this is that idea extrapolated to a ridiculous extent.
Well, and one of the things that we learned in this first issue, when stabbed Jamie comes back, Rain's like, oh my God, you got to save him, reabsorb him. And Madrox looks right at him and says, no. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. She's like, why the hell not? You can save him. Well, part of it is if he reabsorbs a dupe that's about to die, it's super painful and super traumatic. And you know why he knows? Because this has happened before and he didn't tell anyone about it. He's sort of like, David is telling this story of sort of like almost devaluing your own self, right? Because they are just different aspects of him or whatever. And him having to deal with all this, it's so personal and kind of gross. And again, it gives you a look at a character that like, is that heroic? Is that selfish? Is that gross? Like, I don't care. I'm on board because, man, that is fucking interesting. It's
right.
So
like if
well
you could, like
out.
he treats them like photocopies, right? Like they're disposable. I mean, not quite as exaggerated as that, but he does not treat them like, brothers or even clones.
He can't. He literally can't. He has to separate himself emotionally.
He has to be detached a little bit
because they have a job to do. And guess what? They run the risk of getting shot or stabbed or murdered or eaten by something. They are mutants. This happens to mutants all the time, right?
Except if one of them doesn't want to come back, then he gets real fucking interested real fucking quick. Well,
that's a whole...
He's like, what do you mean you're not coming home?
That's a whole nother storyline where ultimately this stuff goes, where we find out what happens when a couple, not just one, but a couple dupes are like, I know what happens and I am not interested. I am out. Screw you. He does not like that at all. And like, it's just more evidence of how well Peter David understood these characters and where they could go, not just with their powers, but who they are and what having those kinds of powers do to someone. I love this Madrox miniseries. And I think Jamie Madrox is my favorite. He was my number one when we did our favorite characters that Peter David worked on or created or changed. You got to read this. This series is just so wonderful. And look, we haven't had a good Madrox story since. This is an amazing book, though.
Well, I mean, X Factor has a long run after this, but yes, after
I'm saying
X-Factor.
Since he was done is what I'm saying.
Since David left the X Factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. All the things you say. There's a note here and you didn't mention it, maybe because you were trying to be nice or maybe because you thought we were going too long. The art is weird. Pablo Raimondi, there's kind of a reason why you don't see him these days.
I just wasn't going to bring it
His
up.
art,
yeah.
It's kind of weird, but this is a book where the story is so good.
Right.
That it doesn't really matter.
No.
It's amazing. So my final book and the final book of our retrospective is a character at DC that David kind of did the Madrox treatment to a decade earlier. Supergirl, in the pages of Supergirl Volume 4, number 1 at DC. This came out in 1996. We have talked about Supergirl, the 90s Supergirl, many times on the show. We did, she shows up a lot in The Death of Superman, which we did like 4 fucking episodes on. I did a whole Patreon extra where we talked about versions of Supergirl, and the Peter David Supergirl got a whole 10-minute
There's no real quick way to talk about the Peter David Supergirl.
There isn't. And so you know her, you love her, or maybe you're apathetic about her, but she was still kicking around the DC universe in 1996. This book, obviously written by David, pencils by Gary Frank, inks by Cam Smith. He has a long partnership with Cam Smith that started on The Incredible Hulk, I believe, or maybe even at Marvel UK. Colors are by Gene D'Angelo. Separations are by Digital Chameleon. Now that would all be handled by one colorist and maybe some flunky that they hired to do color flatting.
Yeah, somebody on their Mac.
Okay. Right. Yeah, right. Letters are by Pat Prentice. Here is a bit of a description for you. This is courtesy of DC Comics. In this 1990s reimagining of the Girl of Steel, Lex Luthor's familiar synthetic creation, Matrix, what it does not mention is it is the Lex Luthor of an alternate universe. We're not going to get into that. Who mimics Superman's powers, merges with the human girl, Linda Danvers, to create a new Supergirl. So, why does everyone believe she's dead? And what is the secret behind Linda Danvers' evil past? The issue opens up with an introduction to Linda. More accurately, it opens up with an S-shaped spiral of blood going down a shower drain. And we see that it is from Linda Danvers, and she is a very troubled woman in a very bad way.
Yeah.
She's covered in cuts and bruises, and she's bleeding profusely until she suddenly isn't. That's when we meet Linda's best friend, Maddie, who is horribly dressed in the worst long-sleeved tube top booty shorts combo I think I've ever.
Come on.
Is that fashion in 1996? Sure. I don't remember the girls dressing like that.
Absolutely. It's like hot 90s Janet Jackson look.
Okay, sure. All right, fine. So things slowly start to come into focus. We see that Linda's injuries miraculously went away. And then suddenly the story flashes back. And we see that she's got this toxic romance with a British stereotype named Buzz. And Buzz has a history of trying to kidnap Linda into his demonic murder cult.
Whoops.
As you do.
Sure.
We see a little bit of Linda's troubled home life. She was bad news even before Buzz came around. We flash back to the present, and suddenly Linda discovers she can fly. She saves the life of a suicidal jumper. He calls her an angel, which isn't foreshadowing at all.
No, it has nothing to do with her ever again.
So suddenly she's searching for information about what happened to her. And because it's 1996, she heads to the Leesburg Tribune, the local newspaper. She meets this skeevy reporter named Cutter, and he helps her fill in some of the blanks about her memory. And we learn that Linda is presumed dead following some shady shit that went down during a literal cult ritual that went wrong. A building, like an old theater, was gutted by fire, and Linda is just dead. Everyone's she's gone.
So real quick, this is 1996, right?
Yeah.
Superman was going through some shit as well, but were they dealing with themes of suicide and ritual cult murder in any Superman books at the time?
I mean, not frequently.
Not that I can remember, right?
Yeah, right.
Peter David, going in a different direction here is all I'm saying.
Sure, yeah. So back in the past, we see Linda's parents are begging Matrix, aka Supergirl, to find their missing daughter. They somehow contacted her, they did a press conference. They're please, Supergirl, she loves you. She's obsessed with you. And she is. Linda was a sculptor, and she made all these beautiful Supergirl statues. And so Supergirl comes to Leesburg, meets with the parents, and quickly discovers that Linda is about to be sacrificed by Buzz to this demon named shoutout. So Matrix intervenes. I hate calling her Matrix. Supergirl intervenes to save her, but she is gravely wounded in the process.
You can call her Linda. Maybe if you call her Linda Matrix, is that better? Linda Matrix intervenes?
Not yet. Okay. So in that struggle, the two dying beings, Matrix and Linda, merge. And the result is a new Supergirl who is a fusion of Matrix's alien powers and like essence and goodness and whatever with Linda's human body and soul. And so there's this through line of drama for the next several issues where the question is like, did Matrix absorb Linda's dying memories and steal her life? Or did Linda steal Supergirl's life force and abilities? Is this new Supergirl Matrix or Linda or both or something different?
Why can't it be both?
And that's like the story of the next 79 issues. And I've said this many times, but this is one of my favorite Peter David runs of all time.
It's a great run.
He took
you jerks tricked me into reading this years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
And I did not give a crap about Supergirl. I wasn't even reading. No, I was reading Superman. I was reading Superman because I liked some of the people who was writing at the time. Did not care about Supergirl until I started reading this. And this book is just, like you said, it was not a Superman book. It was doing a totally different thing.
Right.
And it was all about identity. Who am I? Like, people recognize me as this person. I don't feel like Supergirl, but I have these powers. I don't know if I am this tragic human girl or this bizarre alien thing that literally we all forgot about after Lex broke up with her, more or less, because she was gross when she transformed.
Yeah. And like when Superman did show up, and he did from time to time, not frequently, but sometimes, he kind of stuck out.
Yeah.
Because this wasn't that kind of book. The story gets wild. It goes in some crazy directions. Some might even call them biblical. And you can read for yourself if you want. But I'll admit the last storyline at the very end of the run isn't my favorite. But
no,
up until issue 75, Supergirl, chef's kiss. But can't miss.
They play on it like David plays on you're right, a lot of like religious aspects that probably, like, think about it. If Superman was around, people would worship him like a god. People worship Donald fucking Trump like a god. He doesn't even do anything cool. Now imagine if you could fly and lift, a car over your head. So yeah, there are a lot of those tropes he got to like dig into with this character, which totally makes even a little more sense because Superman, I can see why DC is like, we don't want to go there. He's a superhero. He's in the Justice League. He's doing this. He's doing that. This is a fun place to do that because not only does the DC universe not really know her that well, Superman also doesn't even know her that well. This is not his cousin. This is not the girl that died in his arms in Final Crisis or in Crisis on Infinite Earths, right?
Yeah.
So when he does come around, he's kind of like, yeah, you kind of look like someone I know.
remember that this version of Supergirl was created and existed during a time where there was no such thing as Kara Zor-El.
I guess that's true. I guess technically she did not.
And so Superman did know her, but he was not related to her by any means. Yeah. And he had this kind of weird, almost like you're like a foreign exchange student that my parents took care of right here.
We didn't have that Superman family
and so it's
thing.
Like we're friends, but
there was no super family like we have today.
Yeah, no, not like now. No,
it's going to be developed in the movies now too. I mean, so nothing like that.
And so she was like entirely defined by her relationship with dudes, and Peter David took her and gave her a complete identity and a complete personality all on her own.
Yeah.
The art throughout the run is spectacular. Gary Frank is on board for the first 9. A young Greg Land draws it for a while before Greg Land was tracing shit.
It's great.
And
it's great.
And then Leonard Kirk settles in and draws it for the long haul all the way to up until the final storyline. And then Ed Benes draws it. And all of a sudden it's a TNA book. But
Ed Benes is still pretty good though.
His art is good, but everything is not good art. How many panels of Supergirl bending over do we need to have?
I mean, look, I don't disagree, but also how much of that is Ed and how much
not
of it...
the point of the, not the point of the discussion. He's still a talented
also
artist.
Not the point of the
Leonard
character.
But Leonard Kirk draws it for a long, long stretch.
Yeah, and it's great.
I'm still very salty about how DC kind of cast her aside.
Yeah.
Yes, we had Fallen Angel. They reintroduced Kara into continuity. All of that's now thrown into even greater disarray because the new history of the DCU reestablished that Supergirl has been around forever. And so Linda Danvers has been doubly erased by continuity crisis.
Yeah, she's gone, if you will.
But you know what? That just kind of makes it all the sweeter that you can read this series and not worry about where it goes.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. And I think that is the bright spot. And we'll talk about it in a minute when we kind of recap everything we love here. But if this issue stands out from all the others we talked about, which was a lot of dudes that he writes, this is Peter David acing the Bechdel test, right? Like showing I don't need a group of dudes around me to tell a story. I am my own person. I don't even need Superman.
Linda does know a lot of dudes, but yes, she has female characters as well. Yeah.
Just an amazing job writing this female character and about a person trying to find their identity and figure out who the hell they are in a world full of superheroes where people expect her because she's wearing an S to act a certain way, you know?
Arguably maybe the second like transgender character that I remember reading about at DC. I'm not going to tell you who, because if you want to read the run, I want you to be surprised.
Yeah, probably.
The only other trans character that early at DC was Element Lad's girlfriend from the Legion, who was a woman forced back into her original form as a man.
Yeah.
And so it was like this big dramatic thing. So yeah, like this run deals with a lot of heady themes. The art is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great.
I loved revisiting these comics, and if you look at part 1 and part 2, the themes that we kept bringing up: unsung heroes, traumatized people, overlooked characters with powers that no one ever really took the time to explore. And you can tell that he loved these characters because he gave them so much personality that they just didn't have before Peter David got a hold of them. And that was not typical for a lot of comic books and comic book characters on the stands at the time. And maybe that's the reason that a lot of the characters he fleshed out in X Factor aren't really around or featured, or his Supergirl was never seen again. She's not even part of the DC universe anymore. Peter David's kind of famous for having the best Hulk run ever, and then coming up with a bunch of great ideas that everybody went, we love this so much, we're going to shelve it and never talk about it again. Right?
Yeah. I mean, even Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah.
Like, Marvel flushed the original version of 2099 down the toilet, like literally. They flooded the earth. The original 2099 is gone. So all the appearances of 2099 we have now are like a different version from a different Earth.
I would argue most people today have no idea that Spider-Man 2099 was even a thing without Miguel O'Hara appearing in an animated Spider-Man movie that happened to make a shitload of money. So
I agree with you.
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous because he created and worked on and reinvented so many amazing characters. And unfortunately, Peter David is not a household name. He's just not. The cultists love him. The creators
old
love
heads
him.
like us. Sure.
He's a comic shop nerd's writer. He is a creator's creator. And he'll always be one of my favorites. It was so fun to revisit this. I wish he was more famous. It's too bad. It's just too bad. He got kind of done dirty by the same people that gave him all the work that we love.
But you know what? At the end of the day, the dude never stopped working and he never lost a step.
No, he never did.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Peter David. And thank you for everything.
Excelsior!
That is it for THN 785. The next time you see us, the New Comic Show will be back with 8 reviews of new comics. But you can check out our written reviews for this Wednesday's books right now at twoeditor.com.
We'll have written reviews next week, too. I'm out of town, but we're going to have written reviews. So
yeah, we'll have our written reviews as usual, yes. If you want to talk about your favorite Peter David work, join our friggin' Discord. We keep telling you guys it's the happening place.
Cool. You'd love it.
We've got a link. We got a link where you can find us on our website. It'll take you right there. Then join us for the THN Gang Hang on Saturdays at 11 o'clock Central Time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, or give us a rating wherever you download your podcasts. It helps other potential listeners to find this show.
THN is a listener-supported podcast, and it wouldn't be possible without the generosity of donors like our patron, Adam K. And I believe the K stands for too cool for a last name. The K stands for
I thought it was Killdozer. I didn't know that. I thought it was Adam Killdozer.
Although Adam Killdozer, that's much better. Sorry. Adam, he doesn't like to spread it around because he's trying to get a government job. If you like what you hear every week and want access to exclusive THN content like Adam, it's easy to support the show. You can sign up to be a patron at patreon.com/twoheadednerd.
Before we go, this episode shout out has to go to Ozzy Osbourne. We lost him yesterday. The man melted my brain. Back in 1989 on the No Rest for the Wicked tour. It was incredible. I saw him again in 2017 on that final Black Sabbath tour when he came through, and he still sounded kick-ass. Watching him just a couple of weeks ago at the farewell tour is all the more bitter now that we know he is gone. I want to say thank you to Ozzy Osbourne for helping ruin my life, pervert my brain, and make me the metalhead that I am today. Word to you, and I will see you on the other side, sir.
Until next time, true believers, remember to pre-order your comics or your retailer might just command a bunch of piranha to eat your profile. This is the Two-Headed Nerd, signing off.